What if I told you that someone managed to convince millions of people they had terminal brain cancer without ever having been sick at all? Meet Belle Gibson, the wellness influencer who built a million-dollar empire, attracted hundreds of thousands of followers, scored a major book deal, and became the darling of Apple. All based on a lie so audacious it defies belief. She fooled doctors, she fooled publishers, she fooled tech giants, and she fooled thousands of vulnerable cancer patients looking for hope. And wait until you see where she is now, and who's still by her side after everything fell apart. Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into this wild story, hit that subscribe button because trust me, this is one scandal you need to hear to believe. Today we're uncovering how one woman's wellness empire collapsed when the world discovered her terminal cancer diagnosis was completely fabricated, and the mysterious aftermath that followed. In 2013, a fresh-faced young Australian woman named Belle Gibson burst onto the wellness scene with a story practically designed to go viral. A beautiful 21-year-old single mother who, at just 20, received devastating news: terminal brain cancer with only 4 months to live. Instead of accepting conventional treatment, Gibson claimed she rejected chemotherapy and radiation in favor of what she called clean eating, a plant-based, gluten-free diet paired with alternative therapies. And then, miracle of miracles, her cancer didn't just stop growing. According to Gibson, it disappeared completely. Her Instagram account at Healing Belle skyrocketed as she documented her journey with carefully filtered photos of vibrant foods and inspirational quotes about natural healing. "The power to heal is within you," she would write. "Doctors aren't always right. Your body knows the truth." For thousands of followers, many battling cancer themselves, Belle wasn't just inspiring. She was living proof that maybe they could beat their diagnosis through diet alone. By 2014, Belle had transformed her survival story into a wellness brand. Her app, The Whole Pantry, shot to the top of Apple's App Store charts, downloaded over 300,000 times at $3.79 per download. That's over $1 million in sales. Apple was so impressed, they plan to feature it on the upcoming Apple Watch. Meanwhile, Penguin Books rushed to publish her cookbook, which hit shelves with Belle's serene face on the cover. Media appearances followed, magazine covers, speaking engagements, a growing celebrity status in the wellness community. There was just one problem. Her story kept expanding. To her original brain cancer diagnosis, she gradually added blood cancer, spleen cancer, uterine cancer, liver cancer, multiple heart surgeries, a stroke that left her temporarily dead. With each new diagnosis came another miraculous recovery, all credited to her clean eating approach, all documented for her growing audience. Her most devoted fans didn't just follow her advice, some even questioned their conventional medical treatments. After all, doctors had given her months to live, and years later, here she was, thriving and glowing with health. It was the perfect wellness influencer story, too perfect as it turned out. In early 2015, the first cracks appeared in Belle's narrative, and they didn't start with her health claims, at least not directly. The questions began with charity donations. Gibson had repeatedly claimed that a significant portion of her proceeds, approximately $300,000, was going to various charities. When journalists inquired, they discovered something troubling. The charities had no record of receiving them. As media began digging deeper, journalist Richard Guilliatt of The Australian made a startling discovery. Belle's age didn't add up. She claimed to be 26, but records indicated she was actually 23. More inconsistencies emerged. Medical experts questioned how someone could survive multiple late-stage cancers without treatment. Friends from Belle's past came forward saying they'd never known her to be ill. When confronted, Gibson's responses became increasingly vague and contradictory. Then came the bombshell moment. In April 2015, journalist Claire Weaver interviewed Gibson for the Australian Women's Weekly and asked point-blank, "Do you have cancer? Have you ever had cancer?" Gibson's response, "No. None of it's true." Just like that, the empire crumbled. Belle Gibson had never had cancer. Not brain cancer, not blood cancer, none of it. The entire foundation of her wellness brand was built on a complete fabrication. The public reaction was swift and merciless. Apple pulled her app. Penguin recalled her cookbook and issued a public apology, later paying a $30,000 fine for failing to fact-check her claims. In 2017, following an extensive investigation, the Federal Court of Australia found Gibson guilty of misleading and deceptive conduct. Justice Deborah Mortimer didn't mince words. Ms. Gibson deliberately played on the genuine desire of members of the Australian community to help those less fortunate. The court ordered Gibson to pay a $410,000 fine. But in a move that surprised few, Gibson refused, claiming financial hardship despite evidence suggesting otherwise. January 2019, sheriff's officers raided Gibson's Melbourne home to enforce payment of her fine, which had grown to over $500,000 with interest. Court documents revealed that while claiming inability to pay, Gibson had invested in cryptocurrency, purchased designer clothing, traveled to East Africa, maintained a comfortable lifestyle. During this investigation, another surprising detail emerged. Throughout the scandal, a man named Clive Rothwell had been by Gibson's side, financially supporting her with $2,000 monthly payments toward household expenses. Who was this mysterious supporter who stood by Australia's most notorious health scammer through public disgrace and legal troubles? Just when the story couldn't get stranger, in October 2019, footage emerged showing a transformed Gibson speaking at a Somali community event in Melbourne. Gone was the wellness aesthetic. Instead, Gibson wore a headscarf and traditional dress, addressing the gathering under a new name, Sabuntu. According to reports, Gibson had become involved with Melbourne's Ethiopian and Somali communities, seemingly embracing aspects of their culture. Was this a genuine cultural conversion, a fresh start under a new identity, or something else entirely? Today, Belle Gibson would be approximately 33 years old, and according to the latest verified reports from 2021, still resides in Melbourne under a wage garnishing arrangement to pay her outstanding fines. But the most intriguing part of Belle's post-scandal life might be her relationship with Clive Rothwell. Throughout this entire saga, from wellness fame to public disgrace, this relationship has apparently endured. Rothwell has been the silent figure in this story, appearing alongside Gibson in court, providing financial support and maintaining his loyalty even as her deceptions were exposed in the most public way possible. What kind of relationship withstands this level of public scrutiny? What conversations happen behind closed doors between a woman who perpetrated one of Australia's most notorious scams and the man who stood by her? 5 years after her deception was exposed, the most fundamental question remains unanswered. Why? Why would someone fake a terminal cancer diagnosis? Why construct an elaborate web of lies about multiple illnesses? Why risk everything? Reputation, career, freedom, on a deception that would inevitably be discovered? Gibson herself has never provided a satisfactory explanation. In her Women's Weekly interview, when asked why she did it, she offered only vague references to a difficult childhood, a claim later disputed by her own mother. Perhaps most disturbing is the lack of a comprehensive apology to those most affected, actual cancer patients who look to her for hope and guidance. Belle Gibson's story isn't just about a health scam, it's a cautionary tale about our digital world. The dangers of unverified wellness claims, the power of social media to amplify compelling personal stories, the responsibility of companies to verify the claims they promote, the vulnerability of those seeking hope in the face of illness. The damage Gibson caused was far-reaching. Charities lost promised donations, followers had their trust betrayed, and the wellness industry faced serious questions about verification and accountability. As for Belle Gibson herself, could she ever find redemption? Is there a path back from a deception of this magnitude? Or will she forever remain a cautionary tale of wellness culture gone terribly wrong? What do you think? Could someone like Belle Gibson ever rehabilitate their image? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos uncovering the real stories behind the headlines. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.